Welcome to another edition of In Focus on NCW Life. I'm your host, Steve Hare. Today our focus is on Douglas County. And joining me is my guest, Commissioner Kyle Steinburg. And, representing the county's 3rd district.
Second district.
Second district,
Yeah,
is it?
second-
I
second
beg your
district.
pardon.
Yeah, Mark's third, I'm second.
Okay, that's right. Mark's my commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah. Kyle, let's first of all talk about the boundaries of your particular district and who you represent.
The second district primarily consists of, the Rock Island area, Rock Island grade, up Batterman Road, kind of by the airport, and then up into Waterville area. I do have a little bit of East Wenatchee as well. Everybody has a little bit of the, I guess what you would consider East Wenatchee area. But mostly, I guess it's probably the southeastern portion of the district up into the Waterville Plateau.
Okay. You mentioned Rock Island, and if you don't mind, there's a lot of new development that's going on down in the Rock Island area, and certainly that seems to be an emerging community in terms of economic development. And then they've also got some ambitious plans, I think, for the old silicon plant down there through the Port District. So
they've been working with the port a little bit. That's Randy Agnew, deal. They're working on a redevelopment plan for the old silica plant area in conjunction with the port. I know they've completed some studies and some things, and hopefully that they're able to come up with something that's beneficial for the whole community.
I think that's part of the scheme there. Is in building more business opportunities in that part of the county. And I know that you derive much of your income from that type of revenue.
Yes, we would. There is a development district down in Rock Island that has some tax benefits to try to incentivize people to, promote and grow and develop a business down there.
So you're partners in the Opportunity Zone effort then?
Yes, we are. Yes, we have several opportunity zones. We have one in Rock Island. I think we have one in out in our industrial area to the northeast. There's a couple in the Douglas County area.
Recently spoke with someone involved in that process, Kevin Overbay, with your counterparts in Chelan County. Very bullish on the future of economic development here in the county. With using this as a tool.
It really is a great tool. It gives someone that has that might be just on the edge, it gives them that little extra nudge to have them invest their money into our community, which helps everyone here, and it helps them as well. It gives them some financial benefits, tax planning benefits, et cetera, for redeveloping in Douglas County, so that's good.
Yeah. How can I describe your, let's say, can you give us a sense of how you feel about the future of Douglas County in terms of its development?
I think Douglas County, we're growing, and that's a good thing. You need to, maintain relevance, have a sense of vibrancy about you and promote growth and development. We need, I think, well-rounded development. I think we need housing, multifamily housing. We need to help promote commercial growth, industrial growth and development. And diversity is always good too. And I think that's the direction that we're going, and I want to see us continue to go in that direction. And I don't see really any reason why we won't. We have developing industrial grounds that have services to them, sanitary sewer and water, et cetera. So they're primed and ready for development. We have residential housing coming along nicely. A lot of new developments starting, and then we have even multifamily. It's like commercial development happening as well. So Douglas County is doing well. We're, trying to, I guess, focus on, and maintain responsible growth and do what we can to help promote that.
That would be my next follow-up question, I guess, is how would you describe Douglas County as a business-friendly county or cooperative approach to development, private development?
There's always rules and regulations. Nobody likes rules and regulations. We try to simplify them as much as we can. One of our big things in Douglas County is we do not want to be impose any more restrictions or any more egregious laws or codes onto anyone trying to complete a project in Douglas County than's required by state law. So that's one of our big things is we don't want to be a state law plus one community. We want to just impose the bare minimum that the state requires us to do and allow people looking to either build a house or maybe start a new business or build a facility that's going to house a new business are investors building something for somebody else to start something. We want to be the least restrictive possible and help them along the way. And if there's something that is, in their way that shouldn't be there, that was an oversight or maybe from leadership of the past, that we want to try to correct that and remove those barriers and obstacles.
Are you familiar with the Our Valley, Our Future movement and the efforts of that?
Yes,
How effective has that been, or how influential has that been?
Dan Sutton generally attends some of those meetings. The commissioners, we can't be at everything at all at once. So we have things that I attend and then other commissioners attend, and we get back to each other. So he attends those. So I'm not completely up to speed on what they're working on currently. I know they're, a large planning organization, not so much carrying out the plan and enacting it and getting the actual, boots on the ground, you could say, but they're trying to formulate a conceptualized idea of our valley and what directions we want to go, and then try to pass the ball off for someone else to continue and get the projects going. It's kind of my understanding of how they work, and they've done a good job of putting together what their thoughts and ideas are for how we're going to shape this community.
I'd like to shift to a different topic. Partnerships are important, especially when you and Chelan County are so close together and share many of the same concerns. Drug crime, I think, is a major issue in this area, as it is across the country. We're just a microcosm of that. Your recent decision to rejoin the Columbia River Drug Task Force. Can you comment on that and what that will mean to the county going forward?
Sure. We hope that it makes an impact. That's the intent of it. We relied heavily on influence from our sheriff, Kevin Morris, who was very passionate about rejoining that. And so the commissioners weighed on that decision for weeks. We didn't take it lightly. It has a pretty large financial impact to the county. And anytime we're spending taxpayers' money, we and myself are very conscientious of that, and we don't want to be frivolous with it or just throw money at something because we think it looks good on paper, or it's the politically popular thing to do, or it makes a nice soundbite. That's we really try to look at what it's going to cost the taxpayer of Douglas County. And what our citizens and residents here in Douglas County are going to get from it. So we did rejoin, but we put some strings attached on it. We want to see some tangible results. We want to see some progress made towards maybe some of our opioid crisis here and other drug related issues in Douglas County.
How do you measure that success?
Well, they track the cases that they work, they track where they're at, and whether they're Chelan or Douglas County, obviously things go back and forth across the river. So it doesn't necessarily have to be cases directly related to Douglas County, but overall, we want to see, having more bodies on the task force now, and making a larger investment into the task force. I think it's a reasonable expectation for the taxpayers of Douglas County to get a return on that. Mm-hmm. And it's a 2-year term, that we put on it, because it's going to take them some while to get a body trained and get a replacement for the sheriff's office so they can actually put that body over there. But once they do, we do have the expectation that with the increase in manpower and funding, that they're getting more bad guys and more drugs off the street.
So the commitment basically is contingent upon the funding.
Yeah, we agreed to fund them, so they're going to have the body. So, once they get the body, they're going to have a little bit of time to start working together and work with Chelan County and the 2 sheriff's offices working together, along with our prosecutors, and to get some of these people off the street that are out there dealing drugs in our community.
Again, we're talking with Kyle Steinburg, Commissioner of the 2nd District for Douglas County today on In Focus. Another partnership I know that you have as the host county for the regional landfill. That presents different issues, I know, for Douglas County, not least of which, of course, is the transportation, the truck traffic from Greater Waste Management up to the landfill and back, and that has presented some issues for you in terms of transportation and road usage, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's trucks. First I want to make it very clear that it's not Douglas County's landfill.
No.
We're just the host
Right.
county. Waste Management owns that facility. A lot of people have the misconception that that's, they're like, oh, they're filling up our landfill. Well, it's actually Waste Management's landfill. So we don't really have any control or say in the amount of trash that they bring here, as long as they follow the proper procedures in order to be allowed to bring it here. We definitely ensure that they've done that when they're bringing municipal waste in from outside counties. We make sure that they've gone through all the proper permitting processes in order to do that. Beyond that, they're allowed to bring it here, but they do essentially pay a tax for doing so. I've been working with Waste Management for the last few years, and most recently we're working kind of redeveloping our agreement, and to increase the amount of money that Douglas County is actually getting for having Waste Management bring trash to the landfill. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of exciting. One of the big things that we've been working on is to create a community involvement fund. What is the benefit? Oh, I got my phone going here during the interview. Okay. One of the big things that we've been working with them is to establish this community development fund, where a percentage of every ton of that goes into the landfill, they're going to put money into this fund. And it's going to help us do things, whether it be redevelop soccer fields or baseball fields, or sponsor events in the community. But it's a way for them to give back and help promote things for our residents in Douglas County.
Okay, so how's that coming along?
We're in the final stages, so I can't confirm anything that we've come up with, because we haven't put any ink to paper yet. But it's looking real well. I would say that the offer that we're working with now is considerably better than what Douglas County has had in the past, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to work with Waste Management further and help work under this new contract and what that's going to mean for the community. So it's going to be exciting.
Good deal. A couple of minutes remaining in our program here as we go into the new year, 2020. How's the county shaping up revenue-wise?
Revenue-wise, we just came off of 2019. Again, we had record revenues, which I'm really proud of. We also increased our spending. We weren't just saving money by not investing anything back in the community. I don't think that that's necessarily prudent either. I think you should, spend some of the money that you're making, some of the tax revenues on things that need to be fixed. Some of our roads, some of projects that have been pushed off and delayed because they didn't have the money when now that the county is doing better, our revenues are better, we're spending some of that money, replacing outdated equipment that we've held on to for too long, fixing roads, like I mentioned, repaving projects, etc. But we're still carrying over a surplus in our budget. We're still very conservative. We're not spending everything that we bring in. So if we do get into leaner times, we don't have to be like a lot of these other counties you see, or other agencies. For instance, the Wenatchee Valley College, and everybody just probably read that, they're laying off 20-some people because of budget crisis, because they had no carryover in their budget. So we're trying to prepare for any, economic downturn or slowdown. We hope that doesn't impact Douglas County, but I think it's prudent and responsible that we at least consider it as a possibility. So we're doing well, though.
Good. I know that you've accomplished one of your main objectives, capital projects, with the completion of your Law and Justice Center. Obviously, you're pleased with the completion of that and getting it in on budget and at a minimum expense to the county.
Yeah, we are real pleased with how the project turned out. Myself especially, I was, very hesitant to pull the trigger on spending that much of our taxpayers' money on something. So I had to ensure, for me personally, to support that project, that it would be on budget. It's just a pet peeve of mine, these government projects that just have runaway spending with no recourse to get anything back on track. I even kind of made the joke in dealing with the sheriff's office when we were reviewing the plans. I was like, hey, this thing's going to be on budget, or I don't care if the roof's done or not, you're going to be working in there with umbrellas. Okay, so I was adamant about this thing will be on budget, and it was. So actually, if you consider the contingencies that were built in, it was actually under budget. So.
Fantastic. Well, Kyle Steinburg, Douglas County Commissioner, District 2, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to remind our viewers out there, of course, that all of the meetings of the Douglas County Commissioners are open to the public every Monday and Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Monday, you meet here in East Wenatchee at 19th Street at the Land Services Building. Tuesdays, you meet in Waterville. And again, they're all open to the public. And any final comments?
Yeah, we encourage people to come here. They're not the most exciting thing in the world a lot of the time, so I understand if you don't want to come here, but we do encourage public participation. And I encourage people, if they have a question, to reach out to your commissioners. That's what we're here for. We are, elected representatives of the people. And if you have something that you would like to share with us or you'd like us to look at for you, we are available. So I know I return phone calls if I get them or emails. So if you have something, we encourage public participation, and we want to make everybody, aware and understand we are here to work for you. So if you need something, give us a call.
Well, I appreciate your taking time and affording me this opportunity to
No
at least
problem.
a shotgun approach to interviewing.
Yeah, no problem. It was fine.
Good deal, good deal. Well, we'll be doing this again in a couple of weeks. Next time, we'll be talking with Douglas County Commissioner Mark Straub. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Steve Hare. This is NCW Life's In Focus.